What one quick thing though. Think that you ought to switch progressive for minion
Yeah,
because
okay.
I think that would make it a bit more evergreen. It's like
I guess.
because like these people are only leftists because the zeitgeist is leftist. If the zeitgeist was reactionary, these people would all be some kind of reactionary.
Yeah. Some. I don't know. Who are the types of. That's an interesting topic. Who are the types of people who become progressives? Like the most ardent um, followers of it? And would they.
Well,
What would they be
presently,
like? What would they be
presently
like
it's
hundreds of
just
years ago?
mm, like I feel that there probably is an authentically progressive type of person, the same way that there's an authentically conservative type of person.
Yeah.
The vast majority of people will just go along with whichever of those two things is more popular.
Mm.
Even the vast majority of like interesting and powerful people will go along with whatever's popular. I think it's like a really tiny amount of people that are true believers.
And it's kind of that tiny minority which end up affecting quite a bit of change. Although I'm not talking about the AOCs, those kind of people. I don't know whether they probably would be ardent supporters of whatever the current ruling regime ideology is. But I'm talking about the people
Yeah.
behind closed doors, like the types who are moving all of this um, and shaping everything.
Yes. Okay. So let's move on. Who are some of the politicians
Well,
that you have up here?
okay,
I
so
have to warn you. I may not have much to say about most of the British politicians, aside from like a small number of really famous ones like
mm,
Boris and Farage
well,
and
you're fortunate enough to not
the
have that
third
many
Blair.
very many British people on this PowerPoint. So,
Is
you ready?
let's get on with it. Get
Okay.
on with it. Oh,
So here we go. We've got the nice flag of America. So these are all the Yankee Doodles I'm
this,
going to
this,
show.
this.
First
It's
one.
funny that you say Yankee because like Yankee in American history originally just referred to people from Boston,
Mm,
and eventually it became people from New England, and then it became people from the North as a whole.
yeah.
Then like beside the United States, it means just anyone from the United States.
Yeah, that's what it pretty much means now. At least in the UK, because I know some
Yeah.
people from the South do get quite offended if you call them a Yank.
Oh yeah, yeah. Although to be quite fair, that is partially just a matter of that is partially just because you are because you are so on the because you associate so much with not just with right wingers but with more reactionary types. A lot of
Yeah.
people are like, oh no, like the sort of people who are still bitter about the Civil War. It's like everyone's moved on, man.
Yeah, would you call those people boomers?
In their own special way, I would say that some people like Yiz and Turnip
Yeah.
Seed are kind of boomerish in that
Mm.
way. Like no, the South like at its weakest was basically when it was the most bitter about the Civil War. Now that the South is sort of the rising star in the United States, it is the not the most economically powerful, but it's getting there. It suffered the least from COVID lockdowns. It suffered the least financially in the recent recession, and it's like for the recession, it had the most growth.
Mm. I had no idea about that, to be honest.
No, the South is doing like really well.
Mm.
Like of my not in the current neighborhood where I live, but I used to live in a neighborhood called Kensington. Where one of my neighbors worked at a car factory that was only in the United States because of Donald Trump. It was one of the
Ah.
factories that came over because of the trade tariffs under Trump.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah. So suppose we best get on with the
Yeah.
okay, the parade of Yankee Doodle Donders. Who are all
Yep.
these people?
So you see the first one? Is that one up?
Yes, is that Sam Harris or somebody?
It
It's
is
a
Sam Harris. Yes.
very aesthetically pleasing photo. Perhaps more, better than he deserves.
So what are your?
My thoughts on him: is he a boomer, a grifter? Right. What? Sorry. What were the other two? Boomer, grifter. One of them was minion, verter. That was okay. So is he a boomer, grifter, a subverter, or a minion?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it's a little bit of column A, a little bit of column B. Think that he sometimes pushes things he doesn't believe in.
Mm.
I think he does it because he's angry, not because he's trying to profit off of it.
I wouldn't
I
class. Yeah, I
feel
wouldn't
like
class him as a grifter. I don't think. Well, he doesn't
I'd
have any
say that
power
he's
or money,
very much
so
just a. Yeah, well, no, he has a reasonable amount of
yeah,
money.
but not like
And I would
rich.
say that Sam Harris is probably best characterized as just a TDS boomer.
Mm. He
He's
was
even
part.
admitted as much as yeah.
He was part of the anti religion wave, wasn't he? When like the likes of Christopher
Yes, that
Hitchens were
too.
popular.
Which again just makes me feel like he's just a ridiculously naive boomer.
Mm. He's not.
Anyone who thinks that the Star Trek future is not only possible but desirable is just a unfathomably boomerish.
Yeah. So I would.
Is that
Yeah,
all
I
we have to
wouldn't.
say about him?
Well, I guess the last thing is that I would just say he's. Um, yeah, I wouldn't say he's a subverter as well, but he's not actively. Um, he's not actively malicious. He does. I don't know. He does kind of dissent on a few things, like tiny things, like a few issues.
Yeah, but that's just what you would expect from anyone with principles.
Mm,
But nobody with principles is going to completely agree with any agenda.
yeah.
Like I am quite radically conservative, but I really don't appreciate Islamophobia because I have principles and
Mhm.
many aspects of Islam align with my principles. I'd
Yeah.
like it if Christians and Muslims could work together. We should see each other as rivals, not enemies.
Mm. Well, and that leads on. Well, it doesn't really lead on to, but I'll move on to the next one. Slightly
Uh,
reduced quality, but what do you think of this chap?
I would say that Joe Biden is probably presently he's a minion.
Mhm.
But I think he may be formerly a subverter. I
Yeah.
think that he might have been. I think he might have had some knowledge on the true agenda, if any true agenda exists. Uh, but you know he wasn't. He was working on behalf of it. He wasn't one of the people who had influence over it, but it did have influence over him, and he maybe knew that it did.
Mm.
Uh, Potentially, but I'd also say it's reasonably possible that he was always a minion, but he's definitely a minion now. Perhaps maybe in the past he was a subverter.
Yeah. During
Uh,
his more kind of the days when he had a mental capacity.
During his more lucid days.
Mm.
Yeah. Um. Shall we move on, or do we
Yeah.
just want to roast old pedo Hitler for a moment?
Well, I just feel it's very unfortunate that his family have let him like that the whole public sees basically his aging years and like his progression into some form of um like dementia. It's very it's quite saddening to see and speaks highly of their well speaks volumes about their family.
Yeah.
Well, next one. Unless you've got anything else to say.
Eh. I feel like he's almost reaping what he has sown because from some uh, from some of what has come out, it's very evident that he was neglectful in some cases and apparently even abusive at times to his family. So he is sort of getting what he deserved. Um, but we can move on if because I think that's all that we have to say about him.
Okay. Next character. It's a lovely
The
picture of her.
classic minion. Classic
Yep,
minion.
minion.
She completely Yeah, I think that she completely believes in what she said. I feel like a lot can be. Forgive me for psychoanalyzing you here for a moment, but I feel like it's very telling that you like the most aesthetically pleasing photo so far was Sam Harris, and then there was the slightly sad, mopey picture of Biden. Now we have classic psycho horse face.
Yeah. You can do some
And she's
Freudian
not
analysis.
even. Yes, she's not even bad looking. She just doesn't look entirely like possessed is a good word. What's it? Possessed by ideology.
Yeah.
Almost like a. I've not read. I've not read Dostoevsky's The Devils yet, but I want to. Because I've heard that it very has characters that are very much like her, people that are sort of possessed by ideology as if it were a evil spirit.
Mm. And yeah, you can kind of see that with her, can't you? In terms of how she, well, does all the things she does, really. And what she is also, bear in mind, she is also, of course, it's no excuse, but she is young, and you find with young people they tend to be more idealistic.
I feel like she's definitely a minion at the moment.
Mm.
I feel like, you know, if society were like completely different, if the positions were completely inverted, I feel like she'd probably be some kind of mad jihadist morality police.
Mm.
But as things are, though, I feel like, you know, you have mentioned it, she is quite young. I think I want to call her a minion with potential to develop into a subverter, a grifter.
Because I don't think she holds that much political power in reality, so I don't think she's capable really yet of being a subverter.
Yeah, I think that she sort of does. She just doesn't know how to use it, and therefore it's as if it didn't exist. Because she is a congresswoman, I think.
She is, yeah. Well, isn't that in the House of... She's in the House of Representatives, isn't she?
Yes, I believe so. So...
I mean, it's just like an MP in the House of Commons. They don't really hold a great deal of power.
Almost lower ranking than that. She's a New York City official, and she's not even like a high official like a mayor. She represents one district of New York. So she's more like somebody from the council of the City of London.
Yeah.
No, not the City of London, because that's much smaller than London City Council, something like that.
The City of London is like a tiny borough within London.
It's like a quarter of what is presently London.
Well, it's less than that. I would probably say it's about 10% because it's like this tiny old Roman part of it.
In terms of population, yes, but in terms of land, I was thinking probably it's close to a quarter.
Maybe you'd have to bring up a map of London.
Because it's just a few 100,000 people in the City of London, so... As opposed to London City, which is multiple millions.
Well, should we move on to the next one?
Yes.
Okay. Did you want to say anything else before we moved on? Or?
Oh, no, I just wanted to say is... criticize her for her what's known as valid to criticize her for all of her positions. One thing that one can certainly not criticize her for is her fashion. Those are some very tasteful turquoise earrings that she's wearing.
Well, that's a note to
Complete
leave this
non
on.
sequitur.
And
Yes.
so the next one, you would have a lot more to say about this man than I would. So
Bill Maher. I feel like Bill Maher is very definitely a boomer, because I feel like he is sort of authentically, he believes what he believes. He's sort of authentically moving to the right. It's just taken him years and years because he authentically bought into the left for such a long time.
yeah, I mean, what show does he actually present? I don't even know.
I don't know the name of it either. Oh dear, what is Bill Maher's show? I need to...
Yeah, from what little I've seen of him, I would say he's also a boomer.
Boomer that may potentially be of some use to us in the future. He seems to be slowly moving over to... it's Real Time with Bill Maher. That's what his show is called.
Is that like in a...
HBO.
HBO, okay. Where does that...
It's a talk show on HBO, which basically just makes it like a slightly high quality version of like a normal evening talk show.
Yeah. So what political leaning is HBO then?
They're just an entertainment company. They're not like a solid news company. So
yeah,
it's home box office. They just put out movies and stuff.
Yeah.
They are owned by Warner Brothers though, so I'd say that they're probably like normal Hollywood liberals that have been moving slightly to the right for financial reasons recently.
Yeah. Well, I guess you've got with Trumpism and that kind of thing, it's become profitable to support that kind of...
No, not like that, I mean. It's just that the leftist policies that were instantiated in the company for the past few years were bleeding them dry, and they hired a new CEO recently who's, come through like a withering flame, getting rid of, the guy who canceled Batman and all that, he's also the CEO of HBO.
Yeah. Oh, I see,
yeah. Yeah. That was supposed to be an HBO original movie. It was never supposed to be released in theaters, and he was just like, this is an abomination. It will ruin the company. It's like, he thought they would lose more money from publishing that movie than they would from canceling the movie. Which had been which was like, completely finished, basically in the can, ready for release. He was just like, no, this is so abominable it needs to be erased from history.
Yeah. About a few weeks ago, yeah.
A
few days. Nah.
Didn't show that
Going on a long run tomorrow morning, so yeah, I'll save myself for them.
to get a tax benefit.
Yeah, they were talking about it as if it was a flaming pile of shit.
Because they didn't want to say, yeah, we just can't do it.
Sorry, I was gone for a few seconds. What did you say?
Why would they, Jonathan?
Because it's technically it's take back their investment. So
Jonathan, why would they
came back
can
at
a
a
good
good time.
movie if they get the money to pay the taxes?
because their projections did not say it was going to make more money than they'd get from tax benefits for canning the movie.
I think that's cope.
A bunch of random shows from HBO.
No, I think that's cope.
Profitable, and so therefore they could stop paying residuals. Also, the
Nah, I think that's cope. I think that's cope. I think that's cope. Oh, I think that's cope.
What the hell are you talking about?
My brother.
It's literally just factually they did.
Did they say it? Jonathan, did they ever,
They're not going to admit to it.
Then how do we know? You're just reading into their intentions, the same as me.
Does mine actually make sense and yours are bullshit right-wing conspiracy?
So mine's not a conspiracy theory. Mine is they said it was bad, so they deleted it. They didn't want to ruin their reputation. That's very reasonable. Not a lot of, not convoluted.
Excuse me for hearing you say he wanted it wiped off the face of our Earth and assuming...
I was exaggerating for comedic reasons, my boy. Not comedic, rhetorical? I don't... To make a point. Golly.
I think this has got to be like one of the part of the character of this show is just random bursts of you arguing with your brother.
Yes. Random bursts of familial rage.
They are quite entertaining
Anyway, so I suppose
to listen to.
Is that all that we have to say about Bill Maher?
Yeah, so Boomer.
He's a bit wet and he may be useful in the future, but he's not presently.
I'd agree with that, yeah. So next character.
Yes. Oh. Oh, absolute grifter. Oh, Pelosi. I can't, like, the pinnacle, hold on. Don't know that our viewers will actually be able to see this because, may have to edit it so the images come in when we actually see them.
Yeah, if you post them, I'll put them onto the video.
I mean, well, because I can see the image and you can see the image, but I don't know that the audience on YouTube will be able to see the image. I think there's a bit of a delay or something.
Well, if you post it onto here, and then I'll edit it in.
Oh,
the video.
yes. I'm not recording or live streaming. I thought you were recording.
Yeah, I am. Don't worry, we have been recording this whole time.
Oh, thank goodness.
Did your heart skip a beat there?
Okay. For like, I think my heart skipped about 2 beats there. Okay, so yeah, Pelosi. I just feel like I don't even need to say it. It's like, yeah, she literally, the one time that she did something that might be admirable, you know, when she went to Taiwan to make a point to China. Apparently just because she had investments in a Taiwanese company. Well, like, she literally makes political decisions so in line with her stock portfolio
Yeah.
that a lot of amateur stock investors just follow her investments and they get profit off of it.
I don't know if you've seen the unpopular opinions with Pelosi visiting Taiwan. It goes into quite a bit of depth on how she does all of her some of the acts can be considered treasonous if you look closely into what she's been up to.
I feel like she is just an archetypal grifter, and yeah, anything that you would like to add?
No, not really. She doesn't really hold any real views apart from what the regime tells her to think, I would say.
Well, yeah.
At least ones that we...
Well, it's that and also like selfish profit, you know.
Yeah.
If the right-wing revolution ever comes to fruition and ever get whatever...
Revolution, my brother in Christ, who do you think is in power right now?
Us. No one that I agree with, Jonathan. No one who is radical enough to suit my taste.
You don't think...
I don't think Joe Biden is right-wing, no. No, I feel like if there was like a proper... the things that we want ever came to fruition, I feel like she would probably find a way to grift off of it, like she'd be selling rosaries or something.
Yeah. I would agree with that.
Or cheap little icons of the saints, you know. Is that all?
Yeah, I would say so. Complete grifter.
Just unequivocal, uncompromising grifter.
next little character. Any thoughts?
I'm afraid I don't completely recognize this. Who is this?
Bill William Fence.
Oh, Fence. Oh, the
Mr.
vile
Gates.
eugenicist. Yes. Feel that he is probably a subverter. I feel that he's probably got some kind of higher agenda. I don't know that he's even hiding it that much. You know, like he very openly has talked about how, like, oh, there's too many poor people. We need to make sure that they reproduce less.
We need population control.
He wants to depopulate the world. He is just. I can't think of a. Can you think of a more archetypal subverter than him?
He is a. He's not a very Well, I think if the word. He's certainly malicious.
I feel that he's sort of a true believer.
Yeah, he's a believer in his own cause.
Yeah. But it's very he's a true believer. He is the true believer in charge. He is not the true believer as a minion. He is the true believer as controller.
He's the kind of person who, as we said before, like the idealist who drives that change, who has those kind of twisted beliefs and tries to mold society according to it.
Yeah, he thinks that he's trying to make the world a better place, and the consequences it's not just they will be, they already kind of are happening, and they're basically man-made horrors beyond our comprehension.
It's like the kind of...
It's the sort of evil genius that Nikola Tesla predicted.
Like one of the principal drivers of like the live in the pod, eat the bugs kind of lifestyle, which he's advocating for.
Wait a minute, didn't he make the do the ad or whatever for like the sewage water?
I've heard about this, but I don't know what.
Feces or something.
Is that what it was?
Yeah, it was something. If it wasn't him, it was one of his other cohort. Some other member of his vile cohort.
Well, he's in like the collection of business people and foundations who have all this. Well, these are the people with real levels of power and influence.
Yeah, they're not just the people with the power. They're the people with power who believe in what they're doing.
Yeah.
Which makes them the most dangerous. You know, it's like these are the sorts of people who really need cleared out. Who should basically be I don't even necessarily want to kill them. Like, they just need to be just put away. You know what? No. But literally, you know what? These are the people that we can send to colonize Mars. That way, we don't have to deal with them anymore. We don't have to deal with the moral conundrum of disposing of them in any other way.
Yes, well, we just need to think of the untold harm that they have caused and will cause in the future because of their actions.
Yes.
Well,
That's all that we have to say about the notorious Fence.
Subverter. He's a stark contrast to someone like Pelosi, she doesn't.
Yes, that was very intelligent of you. I'm in that order.
That wasn't intentional.
But in that case, this is a beautiful coincidence.
Yeah. Well, that proceeds on to the next person, and this is the last American, although I don't think he's entirely American.
Yes.
Oh, was it moving?
Oh, is it my arch nemesis? Is it the notorious?
No.
Oh no! I thought you were going to go on about Obama.
No.
No, this is a much more admirable African American.
No, that's not the road I was going down.
Yeah. No, I mean, you know, Obama is actually only half American. You know, like by American law and yada yada, he is an American citizen.
Yeah.
I'm not into any of the birther bull crap, but his dad actually was from Kenya, I believe. Yeah.
So what do you think of this
Well,
South
Musk,
American
South
chap?
African.
Yeah.
From
South
South
sorry,
Africa.
South African. I
He's a
don't know why I
Boer.
said that.
Oh, the hilarious thing is like the Boers are like, so like proud about being white or whatever, but actually, according to American law, before the 1960s, or before the 70s even, the South African, even white South Africans would be considered black. Because the one drop rule, the Boers are partially descended from. I think that the average Boer is like 6% a Negro or something.
What, because of like the
I mean that as a technical
mixing?
term, not black people in general. I mean
Yeah.
like the particular. Um. So like, according to like American law, Elon Musk would have been a black person for most of American history.
Mm. It's very
He would have,
very strange to the UK, to the English eyes, who wouldn't really understand that kind of rule.
I mean, yeah, but like by English standards, there's people like Obama could almost pass for being white.
Yeah.
I would agree with you that there are some like some self-proclaimed black people that absolutely are white, like Meghan Markle.
Yeah.
She's definitely white.
Yeah, she looks white.
Yeah.
And I mean, a character like
I mean, she has lighter skin than some white members of parliament.
yeah, that's true. And I mean, some the people who we would consider black will be a character like David Lammy, who have you seen? Do you know who that is?
I think
like,
a few times, but I'm not completely. Let me Google him.
He's like a Labour MP who very often gets criticised by like mainstream conservatives like the GB News and that sort of thing.
Yeah, and he actually looks black.
Yeah.
Actually, like what's it like? My one of the church officials in my area is from Africa. He's from Zimbabwe, I think it is. He looks quite similar to David Lammy, except that he has slightly fancier glasses, and I believe also he actually has hair. He doesn't shave his head the way that David Lammy does. He has hair of a reasonable length.
Before I forget as well, how do you want to split this up in terms of videos?
I feel like we could do. You know what? I feel like gotta have like there's the various malarkey at the beginning. And the malarkey would be the first segment, and that's just everything before got to this segment. And this segment with the little game, 4 categories. I feel this little segment here, I feel with like all the Americans is its own segment. Then once we get on to the British and Europeans, that would be its own segment. Yeah, no, I suppose is that malarkey about black people out of the way. Yeah, no, Elon Musk. I feel that Elon Musk definitely has good intentions, and I definitely feel that he's more trustworthy than every other billionaire. Because he's the only one of the evil billionaire geniuses who wants the human population to increase. The only one who has more than like 2 children. He has like 10 children, I think, by like 3 different women.
Yeah, all with really strange names, but still 10 children or something.
Yeah, or well, I think it might be like 10 children with one woman and like 5 with another or something. He's he's a decently pro-natalist person. So if nothing else, feel that like, I can respect him for that.
Yeah.
So it's like suppose there's something a bit boomerish about him, like he wants to go to Mars and all that, like there's a sort of blind idealism and what Morgoth might call like the Faustian great man about him. I think it's rather unnecessarily cruel to call it Faustian. I don't think that Elon Musk has made any deals with the devil.
I don't
like some of the
yeah.
other people that we've reviewed so far.
I don't think we
I
should.
feel that Elon Musk really just a bit naive and a bit foolish maybe at times, but he needs to make the world a better place, and he also has enough money that he's not exactly being controlled by anyone.
Yeah, because he obviously something like what goes on with Twitter and all of that is kind of unpredictable. Um, he's quite an unpredictable character.
Yeah. Which, if nothing, well, in a sort of similar respect to Donald Trump, and I feel that sort of lends credence to him being an authentic person.
Mm.
We can't predict what yeah, I'm not sure that so I feel like he maybe doesn't fit in any of the categories we're talking about. Maybe there's a hint of boomerishness about him because he authentically believes in what he says.
Mm. Well,
But he's not pro-regime, I don't think.
yeah. Well, these categories were
Might not
kind
be.
of meant for characters who we are against, and well, is Elon Musk an enemy or is he a friend? It's kind of probably in between the two.
Well, he's very fuzzy. Like
Mm.
he's definitely not the friend of our enemies. But I'm not sure that
Yeah.
he's like a friend of us either.
Mhm.
Uh, I feel like I don't know. You know what? I sort of put him in a similar category to like Tim Pool, where like, yeah, I disagree with him on plenty of things, but they're just like nice, decent people that I'd love to hang out with.
Yeah. I couldn't picture him as
Also, they're
someone who's
not fun.
malicious.
Yeah. And no, I can picture him maybe doing something horrible for like stupid reasons.
Mm.
As a matter of fact, I would say that, because it's not as if he's completely removed from live in the pod, eat the bugs, all that with Neuralink and all that sort of thing.
Mm.
I think that that's sort of that's an improper sort of almost like profane thing.
Mm.
It's not engaging with it out of any sense of maliciousness. I think that he's just naive enough to think that he's sowing the seeds of the future and doing something good.
Yeah, he's one of those like techno-futurist type people who believes in um, like technological progress, like beyond all kind of. Well, actually, saying that though, he is skeptical about AI, but he's kind of.
That's one of the reasons why he wants Neuralink is because he
Mm.
wants the high intelligence on the internet to come from humans and not machines.
Yeah.
Almost like a mentat from Dune.
Mm. I mean, he is still one of the big pushers of electric cars and like space technology, which is obviously shown by the fact he owns these companies and runs them.
Yeah, and that is kind of nice, for all that like electric cars are kind of a weirdly like a weird progressive token. Um, like it actually is like a nice thing to sort of see like technological progress in that respect.
Yeah, I mean, if there's been some interesting, I think to switch to electric cars completely would be a mistake.
No, that would be an absolute mistake.
It would cause
Electric cars
chaos.
they're a nice vehicle for commuting, like from your house in the suburbs to work. That's kind of it. Unless you live in or near a city, you've got no real reason to own or operate an electric car.
Mm.
Like hybrids. Like if we really wanted to have a reasonable automotive future, hybrids is the thing that we'd be pushing
Yeah.
for.
I mean,
Because hybrids are just really efficient. It allows you to get, the most amount of energy out of the least amount of fuel.
yeah, I think they're especially if you want to kind of drive like urbanism among some of these people, especially someone like Bill Gates. Electric cars will sort of be very handy for that. if they want people to own cars and stuff.
Yeah, but I also feel like the sort of people like Bill Gates know that ordinary people can't afford electric cars, so if they mandate electric cars, ordinary people will die.
Yeah.
I feel like what Tesla wants to do is much more sort of Ford, where he dreams of one day making an electric car cheap enough that even the janitor in his factory would be able to afford one.
Yeah.
Not sure that that's really true. I don't know that he's ever said that or anything, but would fit with his larger personality.
Yeah. I think this just says
I don't think that Elon Musk is a full-blown car king, but he's definitely a potential car king, literally as well as metaphorically.
He's not a grifter, is he?
Yeah.
He's not actively looking for what we know. He's not actively looking for money with some of the financial decisions he takes, like random Twitter posts where he.
I think that he wants
stupid
money for the
decisions.
higher purpose of making cool things happen.
Yeah.
Sees money as a means, whereas people like Pelosi see money as an ends.
Yeah, he kind of he views he's not after the relentless profits of like money and all that sort of thing, as you said. Yeah. Because you remember
Is that all that we have to say about him? He's slightly boomerish. He's like, yeah, slightly boomerish, but we like him.
And this is kind of why I didn't include Trump in this list of Americans, because he doesn't really fit into any of these categories, and he's probably leaning more towards friend than enemy. So
Yeah, like Trump does actually have some boomerish qualities about him, like the sort of macho 1980s secular patriotic America that is all about boobs and guns and cheeseburgers. Yeah. That is reasonably like wholesome and all that and whatever. It's
well, I would say it's valueless in a way, because if it's is that really
it
America
almost is. It's definitely less than what I want America to be, but it's also so much better than anything that is being offered by anyone else.
Yeah, that's true.
And it's like, well, it's not just better than what the progressives are pushing. It's better than what most conservatives are pushing.
Yeah. I guess
because
like...
most.
Go on.
I would not. I was just going to repeat myself. What did you have to say?
Well, in some ways, I guess we should realise that vision of, as you said, the cheeseburgers, the boobs, and the guns, isn't really achievable. Not achievable, but you can't revive something like that.
That's a bit fuzzy, so I didn't. Did you say that you can or you can't?
Can't.
I'd say actually that you kind of can, and maybe live in such a horrible world at the that sort of semi-degeneracy of just boobs and cheeseburgers is an improvement over what we presently have. Because what we presently have is drag queens and bug burgers. And not even just drag queens. We have like pedophile drag queens and bug burgers.
Well, are you advocating for a return to Fresh Prince? I'm joking. When you're joking.
I'm advocating to use Fresh Prince as a means. Prince is not the final destination. Fresh Prince is the road to New Jerusalem. That's what I'm advocating.
Well, that's a lovely point to end with Elon Musk.
Yes.
Next character.